Taylor, thank you so much for joining the podcast here at AFP. How are you doing?
Good. It's good to be here. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. So something I've been thinking about lately. I'd love to get your kind of thoughts and perspective on it. I've been thinking about the pace in which nonprofits move, specifically around change. Am I in my head, or do you see this as a challenge in this space today?
Oh, it's absolutely a challenge. And the bigger you are, the more averse to change you are. I've seen this my entire career. I've been working in the nonprofit sector for about 15 years now. And it is the thing that I think holds nonprofits back the most. We as humans are like risk averse, and we don't like change. It's in our very nature, I think, not to like change, but for some reason in the nonprofit space, like it's worse than other arenas. And I've been in startup before, I've been in for-profit, and it's certainly something that affects this sector more.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, we need to do something about it, and I think part of it is just helping to shift mindsets.
Yeah, totally. You know, Facebook used to have a value: move fast, break things.
Yeah.
And they became famous for it early on, and they've since moved away because they were breaking too many things.
Right. Yeah.
You can
go too far.
You can go too far. But it led to obviously enormous growth. And I know that, you know, Facebook is different than a nonprofit organization, but I do think that the inability for organizations, and like you said, like especially large organizations, to move fast, especially around things that I would say are less risky, like new tech, new fundraising programs. It has a long-term impact on the growth of the organization.
It does. You know, sometimes I'm going to say something people might not like. Sometimes I wonder how much they want to grow. You know, and I know that sounds weird, and it might not even be on a conscious level.
Yeah.
But you do have to ask that question: what is it that makes nonprofits so hesitant to make changes? I've seen little things like you said, that you would think would be simple. Adopting a project management tool, for example.
Yeah.
I've seen that take months and months, and it's like, it's Trello, y'all.
It's a free version.
It's free. It's supposed to help you get organized so that you can do a better job with your campaigns, with raising money, with keeping all of your stuff together. And yet, well, I don't know. I just, can't learn it. Is so-and-so going to be upset we're not using this project management tool? And so I think people get too much in their heads and think that they have to get buy-in at every little level.
Yeah.
I think people have a lot of fear, and so they go around, and it's like death by committee.
Yeah.
In more startup world, like, you do see that fail faster motto often, and it's true. Sometimes you can go a little too fast and you have to slow down, but I do think it helps you learn, and I think that's one of the things that nonprofits miss out on by not changing anything. They are missing out on a lot of learning opportunity.
Yeah. They look at failure as a net negative, not necessarily a net positive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of learning when you fail.
Yeah.
And going back to the buy-in, I often refer to death by board, because and I think this is less common at the larger nonprofits, more in the mid to like smaller nonprofits, where the board has to sign off on approval for everything.
Yeah.
And that's just not the function of the board, and it shouldn't be the function of the board. In many ways, I have a thesis, which we won't go too much into, that boards are one of the number one causes for lack of growth in smaller to mid-sized nonprofits. I don't know if you've seen that or experienced that.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a good thesis, and I've definitely seen it happen. I do think that I don't understand it either. Like, why? I don't think that's the board's. Maybe I don't know enough about boards.
Well, their fiduciary, their primary is to be fiduciary responsible for the organization.
Right.
A budget gets passed. It's passed.
Yeah.
You don't need to make decisions on software that the nonprofit's buying and so forth. And so I think that there's just too much oversight. And that is what it is. But the other thing I wanted to ask about is sort of on the opposite, or nonprofits that maybe you've seen are moving fast and are prioritizing growth and exploring new things. Is there a nonprofit or two that stands out in your mind that you think is a good sort of case study for this concept of moving fast?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you one example. This is an organization I used to work with. I don't work with now, but I've got a good friend there, and she's been telling me about how they are starting a peer-to-peer pickleball
interesting
program. because apparently pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. I don't know if you knew that. I found that out recently.
I do have a pickleball net.
Everyone loves pickleball.
Yeah.
I remember playing as a kid, and it's really funny because she was telling me how like they're working on implementing this, and they're like, you know what? We decided. They've done walks for years. They've done employee engagement peer-to-peer programs for years, and now they are doing something on pickleball because it's an innovative sport that apparently is picking up a lot of steam.
Huh.
So I think that's a good example of it. It'll be interesting. It hasn't launched yet, so that's probably why I'm not naming it, because I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting example of them looking at the market and saying, what's new and exciting and different, and how can we take the same principles of peer-to-peer and social fundraising and take that into something that people haven't done before? Maybe they reminisce as a kid playing pickleball at summer camp, whatever, and coming back and getting involved in something that feels new. And I think it doesn't even take all that much to give your donors, people who interact with your organization, something that just feels new.
Yep.
But so it's pickleball. Why? It's not risky. It sounds fun. Let's just try it.
Totally.
So it's cool to see them doing that.
Yeah, I love pickleball, so I'm going to keep my eye out for this fundraising campaign.
I think I'm going to go play. Well, so funny thing, I live in a little town in the mountains in North Carolina, and the rec center is building pickleball. I go to the rec center down the street because I go swim there a lot. They have new pickleball courts that they're putting in. So I learned about this. I've heard one or two other people talk about pickleball lately, and then the rec center, they're like, we're putting in pickleball. I'm like, where did this come from?
That's awesome. What are you most excited for? This is a question I've been asking here with different nonprofit leaders and service providers, is what are you most excited for the remainder of 2022? Whether it's a project you're working on, something new you're developing for alongside your clients.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the next, call it 7 months?
7 months. I do move fast and fail fast, so I think 2 or 3 months ahead, Justin. No. Actually, I'm excited. There's a project that I've been having a lot of conversations on, and it's building out an e-commerce experience for an organization. And they're thinking different about, they're actually bringing their kind of social enterprise group and their nonprofit group together to say, how can we fundraise and invest in our community and our partners to build something that's different than just fundraising. And so we're working on this whole Shopify thing for them.
Awesome.
I've never worked with a nonprofit before on a Shopify site, and thinking through they're going to provide low cost special assistance products on this site to
Very
people
cool.
who need them. So I think that's something that it's nice to see, that kind of innovation where they're thinking different and outside the box, and it's not just your standard, well, let's just throw up a donation campaign. They're like, no, let's sell a product. Let's sell that product at a good price for people who need that product, and let's do it on a tool like Shopify, which is more modern, which you see more in the for-profit space usually.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, cool. All right, I know you have to speak here in a few minutes, so I'm going to ask you some rapid-fire questions. Okay. There's no wrong answer. There are better answers, but no wrong answers. No, just kidding. All right, here we go. Movies or series?
Movies.
What's your favorite movie?
Ooh. I don't know. I like, this is a really dumb one, but I really love that movie Can't Hardly Wait.
Okay.
With Keith Ledger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to watch it a lot. I mean, I haven't seen it in years, but that was the first movie
thing
that
popped
popped into
All
my
right.
head.
There you go. It's left. Tacos or cheeseburgers?
Tacos.
Yeah. Beach or the mountains?
The mountains.
You're in the mountains.
Yes.
What mountain in North Carolina or mountains?
I live in Boone. It's close to Asheville.
Oh my gosh! So I used to be. I used to work at Invisible Children.
Yeah.
And we toured in Boone all the time, and I stayed there a couple nights. I was like, dude, this is the coolest mountain town I've ever been to.
I love it. I
That's
moved
awesome.
from Texas. It's totally different.
Very different scenery.
Very different.
Very
I love
different
it.
scenery.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Digital reading or an actual book?
Book.
Hardcover or soft?
Soft.
Really?
Yeah.
Just more compact, easy to travel with, or?
I have small hands, and I think something, moving it around, and I don't know, it's just easier to navigate.
All right. Ice cream or froyo?
Ice cream.
Yeah. Me too. Football or football?
Oh, foosball.
No, football. Football
Football
or football?
Or football. Oh. I don't know, football.
Okay. That was hard to say. I don't know why it's hard to say.
If I had to choose one.
All right, last one.
Pickleball, man. Come on. We talked about this.
Hey, there's no wrong answer. There you go. Moana or Aladdin?
Aladdin.
Aladdin?
Yeah.
The cartoon or the real one?
Cartoon. The real one's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm old school cartoon.
Yeah.
I love Jasmine.
Love Jasmine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
having
Good
me.
luck on your talk today.
Thanks, Justin. This was
All
fun.
right. Thanks.
Bye.